Alright, hello again everyone, episode 11 of Zero to Hero, and it really is starting to become squeaky bum time for us now at the bottom of the league in, of course, our first season in professional football in this Become a Legend save. Now, we hit the post 3 minutes in, and then 2 minutes later got counter-attacked, and with a lovely strike from the FC Tokyo player, we found ourselves 1-0 down. And believe it or not, just under 5 minutes later, they scored again. Togashi's second goal of the game. And really, regardless of whether you are home or away, you can't go 2-0 down within the opening 10-15 minutes of a game. You're going to leave yourself a very steep mountain to climb, and an even steeper mountain to try and climb when you concede a third. And really, FC Tokyo, in context of this league, aren't that special. They're a mid-table side, and really, considering we're trying to fight relegation, we just need to be a lot more resilient than we were. So I got subbed on roughly at half-time. 53 minutes in, I whipped the ball into the box, but Suzuki heads wide. And really, I kind of came onto the pitch not really expecting to obviously contribute towards 3 goals, but just to hopefully just improve our performance a little bit. And I think that's definitely what happened. We were unfortunate, obviously, not to get a penalty in the 56th minute. Very lucky not to concede here. And talking about penalty shouts, we had another one there as well. Now, I'm not sure whether or not that was a clean challenge. That certainly wasn't a clean strike of the ball. It seems, for some strange reason, a lot of the time when we get played into the box, it just seems to fall on our weaker left foot. So we've been quite unfortunate in that respect. And 90 minutes in search of a consolation, me out wide, I lob the ball into the box, and then unfortunately Marilla this time round heads wide. But, considering we came on at half-time, it's a relatively healthy rating of 6.0. Now, this was the big match I spoke about in the past against a team below us in the league. It really was a true relegation 6-pointer, and we started the game in probably the most V-Varen Nagasaki fashion, with little to no defence. I'm not quite sure where they went walkies, and basically, just to sum up how bad this team are, he couldn't even finish in that 1v1 situation, but they did have someone following up off the hit off the post. So we went 1-0 down, but Marilla equalised after 27 minutes. But as always, given how frail our defence is, we should never get too excited. But it was good that we brought things back level. However, it only lasted 10 or so minutes. Once again, one thing Shizumu Pulse did really well is kind of realise we were playing 3 at the back and utilise players in the wide area and feed the big striker in the form of Kitgawa, who does eventually get a hat-trick. Now, we got subbed on around the 60th minute, and there's our equaliser. It was a well-worked goal. And it was a 73rd minute goal, and 5 minutes later the hat-trick lad popped up with a nice finish, and it was a relegation 6-pointer. These guys were 3 points below us, I think, bottom of the league, and them getting 3 points basically left us just slightly over bottom of the league based on goal difference, I think it was. We had a shot on goal, but it was a good save from the goalkeeper. You see the directness that I bring to the team, but because of our low rating from a finishing perspective, we're not by any means still quite the finished product. Pretty much last kick of the game, corner came into the box. They scored from it, and then our last kick of the game, was me, but it went agonizingly wide, and we got a full-time rating of 6.0. And guys, we're running out of games here. We need, I think, if we can get 3 wins from now till the end of the season, I think we've got about 6 games left, then we might stand a chance of finishing outside of the bottom 2, which is the aim for us, of course. Marilla put us 1-0 up against Gary Lineker's old side, Nagoya Grampus, away from home. And then 2 minutes later, in the 19th minute, up stepped Suzuki. Pedal to the metal, afterburners on for the Japanese striker as he headed home. And, you know, you think to yourself logically, we've got a 2-0 lead away from home. It's probably time to sit back and stay tight. But the ex-Man City man in the form of Joe stood up from a free kick and made himself heard. Wonderful strike from him. As his free kick nestled in the top corner. Not really much our goalkeeper could have done from that there. But the worst part was that 5 minutes later, he then made it 2-2. And, you know, if you've made it this far, you've been watching our episodes previously, you'll know that we just have absolutely no resiliency. We can't hold on to a lead. We're very good when it comes to going forwards and taking our chances most of the time, which is why we retook the lead. A nice celebration there from Ryuto, Leo and Suzuki. But when it comes to holding on to a lead, we just have absolutely no grip whatsoever. 62 minutes in, Joe nets his hat-trick. Yeah, the 3 goals we'd scored that we'd huffed and puffed for had been negated, but Marilla stood up, I believe it was, to volley in at the front post. It's fantastic technique. You'll see it now from the replay. No one really picked him up, but to be able to hit that first time, you know, and just smash it into the top corner like that was really quite phenomenal. But anyways, we were subbed on as a defensive midfielder, which was definitely this time around for the change, the right substitution to make. I picked the ball up really, really deep and spot the run of, I think it was Suzuki on the left, and he finds his 3rd goal of the game to get his hat-trick. So, you know, we weren't on the pitch for long, but from my perspective, lovely pass from me, really, really well weighted, and, you know, to rub salt in the wounds to the other team. Not only had we regained our 2-goal lead, but obviously Suzuki had got his hat-trick as well. So really, from my perspective here, as a DMF, priority is to make sure we don't concede any more goals, and we didn't concede any goals with me on the pitch, and that was shown by my final rating of 8.0. Now, 4th and final match of this episode, at home against Kawasaki Frontale. I said at the beginning of the last game we needed about 3 wins to stay up, and when Delgado 2 minutes in heads home, it makes you wonder whether or not we could actually get our 2nd win. But again, it was only 2 minutes into the game, and yeah, you won't be surprised to find out that around the 20th minute, Nakamura does eventually get an equaliser. And probably the funniest part of how we conceded this goal was obviously our goalkeeper's reaction. He did well actually to go down and try and close off the ball, but he just didn't get down enough, so the ball ended up creeping in beneath him, which is kind of disappointing really, because it wasn't too hard of a shot. But yeah, we should have stopped the cross coming in the first place, and then 10 minutes later we actually went 2-1 down. So it's just further proof that even though we take an early lead, it's really meaningless, because we pretty much go into every game like expecting to concede at least 2 goals. And that's the problem, you know, with this manager or with this team. I don't actually think it's an issue with the players we have. Like, we are the weakest team on the game, but like, the players aren't that bad. It's just that a lot of the teams that we come up against utilise wide players and, you know, feed their individual strikers really well from the wide areas, and the 3 at the back that we've got going on just does not counteract it. But anyways, you guys saw that obviously Kobayashi got a hat-trick for the other team. Weiss, who is one of our defenders, actually steps up to score a free kick to make it 4-2. Poor defending from me. Granted, I don't think it's completely my fault, but maybe, just maybe, I should have done a little bit better there to prevent the Kawasaki Frontale 5th goal from going in. I have a shot after pushing into the opposition box, but it gets saved once again. We've had quite a few opportunities to score in this episode, but we've not quite hit the back of the net. And then Kobayashi got his super hat-trick. 4 goals, of course, to finish things off at 6-2. And yeah, you can tell from the reaction of some of our lads with regards to how bad of a game that was. So that left us in 17th place. Can we survive relegation? Let me know in the comments.